You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them.
Republicans and Democrats.
All right, folks, happy Saturday morning. That's right. It is just a few minutes past the hour of 10 right here on KLRNradio.com, and that means it's time for Finding Common Ground. I'm not sure we're going to find much of that for the next several years because it seems that There's a little too much rejoicing on one side and a little too much weeping and gnashing of teeth on the other. And I have to admit, occasionally I do find myself rejoicing. Speaking of which, we have Mr. Bryce Robbins. For those of you who listened, I believe it was it Wednesday? Yeah, it was Wednesday. We had Jackson Richmond from George Washington University on, who is actually a conservative student there. And he was discussing the recent protests, the marches, etc., and we had a little fun. We laughed while the leftists cried. But speaking of leftists, Bryce happens to be a student there as well, and he actually would like to give some lefty perspective on the marches and all of that fun stuff. So good morning, Mr. Bryce Robbins. How are you?
Good morning. It is good to start getting back in the groove with you on finding common ground again.
Oh, you mean you're not going to run out mid-show like last week? No, I'm just playing.
No. No, I actually, it was a good thing that I left early. I almost missed my Uber to the museum, so that was good.
Yeah, you miss an Uber call Lyft. What the? I mean, there's more than one of those things now.
They do charge you $5 after you wait. Apparently, I didn't know this, or if you cancel after a certain period of time. So just an FYI for everybody listening. But all right, yeah. So where do you want me to start, more or less, from a lefty's perspective?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Start from the beginning. Because we haven't really done a full show since the election, because there were lots of things that were getting in the way. At least I don't think we have. And then last week you were only able to be on for half a show. So just so we can get the full leftist perspective, why don't you describe kind of how you felt the instant you realized things didn't go the way you expected?
All right. So, sure. All right. So let me just to kind of put it in perspective. My friend who supports Donald Trump, she was watching with me, and my other friend who is a supporter of Hillary Clinton, he was watching with me, and we were all in my room, just the three of us, and we were watching on my TV, and I was saying, oh, well, we already know what's going to happen, it's pretty obvious, and my friend, she was saying, no, I don't think so, I think you're wrong, and then I saw what was happening in Florida. And I thought back to, I recently went to Delaware. And on my trip to Delaware, I saw, and I'm not exaggerating, thousands upon thousands of Donald Trump signs. Some were homemade that were as big as can be. Some were, regular lawn signs. But I saw thousands of Donald Trump signs. And it occurred to me when I was watching that he was going to win. Because I saw one Hillary Clinton sign. And if that was any indication of how this country was going to vote, well, it was. So once I saw Florida,
hang on just a second, because I don't mean to cut you off, but there's an interesting parallel there from another perspective. So I have, and actually he was a guest with me and Jen on, I believe it was Tuesday's show. Goes by Beaker O'Donovan on Twitter, and he actually has family out in the Pennsylvania area. And when we realized that we had missed something, and this was probably about a week to 10 days before the election, and I'm in a pretty large group. We help promote with each other. We share each other's articles, share each other's links. We're all fairly staunch conservatives. And we realized at that point we had missed something important, because he was actually coming back saying the same exact thing that you are. He was actually tweeting us from Pennsylvania going, dude, I have never seen this in my life. This is the bluest of the blue area of Pennsylvania, and everywhere you look, there are Donald Trump signs. And I don't mean little stick them in your window and cover them up so nobody notices them Donald Trump signs. I have seen people with 10 feet square of yard that have a 20-foot Donald Trump billboard hanging out halfway into the middle of the street. He said, I have never seen anything like this in my life. And that's when I started scratching my head going, wow, maybe we really did miss something. And then the numbers started coming in the night of the election, and I'm like, yeah, I think we missed something here, guys. And then I had to call it for Trump, and I went from never Trump to stuck with Trump.
Yeah, so I realized I had the gut feeling that he was going to win about a week before, but it never hit me till I saw the numbers, how close they were in Florida. And when I saw that he was winning in Florida, or I saw that it was getting closer, and the percentage was around 64%, I think it was, I realized that something was wrong. But anyways, he won. So I'll fast forward a little bit. And I am definitely, not thrilled with my president. I'm not going to go as far as some people say he's not my president. He is my president. The majority of the people didn't elect him. That is true. And it was over 1 million people are now coming in as voting for Hillary Clinton in the popular vote, but that's beside the point. But I think that a lot of people are genuinely scared. So what I mean by that is, and my view of the protest is that, while you're protesting, you're not really getting anything done. But at the same time, I think that people don't really know what to do. What?
No, it's all right. I just thought we lost the stream, so I was checking something real quick. Sorry, I didn't think it would be quite that loud.
So I think that people, they really don't know what else to do because they feel hopeless, right? And I'm not trying to take it from my point of view at this point. I mean, I'm a white guy, right? Like, there's not really much more I can get out of this country. But looking at someone who is, from the LGBTQ community, who literally just got the right to marry a little more than a year ago, they are now looking at a presidency where the vice president advocated for gay conversion therapy, which for many has been
hang on. I want to stop you right there because you said that last week and I didn't have a chance to call you on it because you were going off the air right as you said that. That is not what he did. You need to actually go back and research what he did in Indiana. It was not about gay conversion therapy, and he wasn't trying to force it on anyone. What he was doing was trying to offer it to people that were requesting it. He wasn't trying to force it on anyone. He wasn't trying to make it mandatory by the state. He was trying to make sure that people that were trying to look for that type of thing had access to it. That's not the same thing.
Okay, well, according to PolitiFact, Mike Pence advocated diverting taxpayer dollars to so-called conversion therapy was ranked true. And the fact of the matter
is true, but they didn't right? Hey, look, that part is true, but they left out the most important thing. He was trying to divert tax dollars to it for people that were seeking the treatment, not to make them get the treatment. Come on, man.
Rick, conversion therapy, for no matter what, is a death sentence. It doesn't matter if you're seeking it or not.
Well, that's funny because you know what? Colorado disagrees with you because they just went with legal euthanasia, which is actually a death sentence. So that's my point. People that were seeking that treatment couldn't get access to it, so he was trying to make sure that they could. He's not trying to force anybody to do it.
Right. Your argument is about seeking euthanasia. Says nothing that doesn't say what is good about gay conversion therapy.
I never said, hey, listen to me, genius. You're putting words in my mouth. I never once have said in my life gay conversion therapy is a good thing. But if actual adult people that are homosexuals were looking for that treatment and wanted to use the treatment but couldn't use it because their insurance wouldn't cover it, what is the harm in letting them access the treatment?
Why do you think they're looking for that treatment? It's because society wouldn't accept them because you have people like Mike Pence who preach about
here we go with the liberal logic
act.
Circle again. You're still missing the point. You guys look, okay, so I want to put this to bed one time and one time only. Mike Pence did not advocate for that. He was trying to give people access to it that were seeking it within his state, which I think is actually what the governor's supposed to do. You have a segment of your population looking for something, you try to find a way to make sure they have access to it as long as it's legal. Now, I also want to put this whole gay marriage thing to bed because apparently everybody missed the Donald Trump 60 Minutes interview where he specifically said gay marriage is the law of the land and I'm fine with that. So can we put this crap to bed and put the Play-Doh away, please?
No, Rick, that's not, it's not that simple. It's really not. Because as somebody who's looking at that, I mean, you know how scary that is for them? Imagine you're, like I have a friend who literally just came out of the closet like a couple months ago, and they're looking at a vice president, somebody who, I mean, you might disagree, but advocating or funneling money. If you funnel state funds into gay conversion therapy, that's advocating for it, right? In many states, it's banned. It's banned because of the sick psychological effects it does to people. And why do we need gay conversion therapy? It's because our society tells people, the LGBTQ community, do not be proud of yourself. You have to conform to what is normal, to a heteronormative way of life. Don't be yourself. And that's the problem. Gay conversion therapy is absolutely sick, and if people are searching for it, it's because they want to be accepted.
Well, you
by
know what? From my
normal.
Hey, from my perspective, no matter how sick you are, deciding to put a needle in your own arm and end your life prematurely is pretty damn sick. But there's plenty of people out there that are seeking that type of treatment, even though I disagree with it, and I'm not trying to stop them from getting it. So that is bullcrap, and you know it.
Asia. I mean, I have my own opinions on it, and I think if you're terminally ill, I don't see a problem with it. But being gay is not a terminal illness. You don't die from
Nobody said it was a terminal illness. All I'm saying is it's the same
thing.
thing on
difference.
No, it is no. There is no difference. You're actually taking what could be considered a quality of life and trying to throw it away. I'm looking at this from the same perspective that you are. I'm not embracing gay conversion therapy. I think anybody who's born however they are, as long as they're not causing harm to themselves or anyone else, should be allowed to live the way they are. And maybe that's because I spent 12 years of my life fighting and protecting inside the gay community to keep them safe as a private security agency owner, because that was the very first contract I ever signed, and it was the last contract I let go before my business closed. But my point is, he didn't do anything to make anybody take the treatment. He was being reached out to people that couldn't get the treatment and tried to make sure they had access to it. So quit painting him as the devil for doing something that's part of his constituency was asking him to do.
Rick, there is nothing to substantiate that a large amount of people were asking for gay conversion therapy. Where did I say large amount? I said there was a segment. Let me slow down for you. There was a segment of his constituency that was reaching out to him because they wanted access to a treatment that was not available through their insurance policy. A segment. I never said small segment, large segment, medium-sized segment, nothing but segment. But he was still doing what he thought was the right thing because there were people that were asking for the treatment. So the solution to that is put your pen to paper and signing that gay conversion therapy should be funded in your state. I mean, that's not a solution. That really doesn't help anybody. That literally hurts people.
That's your opinion. Why
no, that's not my opinion.
No. Hang on. Let's put money where your mouth is. You're pretty good at getting guests. Why don't you go find somebody that signed up for the gay conversion therapy in Indiana, and let's talk to them and see whether or not they thought it helped and why it was they were looking for it before we put words in everybody's mouth.
All right, I will do that, but I'm going to go with the states that banned it and say that it's pretty bad for people. But also, I just want to get back to the point of
lots of states have still kept marijuana illegal. Does that mean it's bad for people?
You know, I really don't think that those are the same, because gay conversion therapy is being... Wait. Listen. Hang on. Let me make my point, and then you can get back on that. Gay conversion therapy is being banned because the effects it has on the psyche of people who are normal. Marijuana was banned because of lobbying groups and because of reefer madness. So the two are banned for a completely different reason.
Hang on.
Two different things and then assuming that they're the same.
You mentioned something called reefer madness. Now, I realize that reefer madness is kind of a made-up thing, but wasn't that the exact same argument that led to reefer madness? Oh my God, marijuana changes you psychologically. You shouldn't smoke that. It'll make you crazy.
It was actually banned primarily because of lobbying groups on
You didn't
paper.
Answer my question, so let's move on. Next topic. I'm done, because otherwise
just completely... They're two different things, though.
No, it's not. It is.
No, it's not. You can't say, they banned marijuana and they banned gay conversion therapy, so aren't those the same? No, they're not.
No, I didn't. Okay, see, again, you're putting words in my mouth. All I'm trying to do is draw a corollary, and you're not willing to see the corollary because you specifically mentioned something called reefer madness, which was a propaganda campaign they used to convince the rest of the country how terrible marijuana was, even though really there was no substantiation to it.
Yes. All right.
So that is my point. When you look at just those two breakdowns of the reasons why gay conversion therapy is being banned in some states and marijuana was made federally illegal, a lot of it may or may not be tied to propaganda campaigns. So until we can actually start interviewing and talking to people that have undergone the procedures, maybe in Indiana where it was actually legal and funded for a while, maybe we should not continue to bash the subject to death, because we don't honestly know whether it is helping or hurting people because we're not undergoing the treatment. All I'm trying to say is quit painting Mike Pence with such a broad brush, because he didn't force the treatment on anybody. He didn't make anybody go get it. He wasn't advocating that every gay student in his state had to undergo conversion therapy and the taxpayers were going to pay for it. He was trying to give a segment of his populace access to a treatment that they were asking for. Wait. So how come when millions of women ask for the government to subsidize their birth control, that's a problem, but when Mike Pence wants to fund gay conversion therapy, you're fine with that? First of all, it's in Indiana. That doesn't impact me. That's problem number one. See, that's where you and I are different. 10th Amendment, states' rights. Each state can independently do whatever the hell they want to do as long as it's legal and as long as it's not already covered as a federal power by the Constitution. Now, if my state started screaming about gay conversion therapy, I'd be one of the first people standing up saying, no, I don't want that here. Just like if my state started advocating for paid birth control, I'd be one of the first people standing up saying, I don't want that here because I don't believe in either one. But that's the point. Each state has the ability to make up their own mind and their own decisions as to how they choose to govern themselves. And he wasn't forcing the treatment on anyone. If you're going to advocate for states' rights, then you have to advocate for states' rights across the board.
All right. I just think that so long as it doesn't hurt people, then perhaps. But he literally said in his campaign in the year 2000, I just want to read this quote, that resources should be directed towards those institutions which provide assistance to those seeking to change their sexual behavior.
Those seeking to change their sexual behavior.
No, I understand that he wasn't rounding up gay people and throwing them into these gay conversion camps.
You may understand it, but when you start blatantly quoting articles like that one and leaving out the point that he was doing it for folks that were volunteering for the procedures, you are actually perpetuating part of the problem, because there is a vast segment of the population, Bryce, that believes he was rounding up gay people and throwing them into conversion camps because of articles like the one that you just cited. I have heard it with my own mouth here in Oklahoma that he was someone who was forcing gay people to undergo conversion therapies because of articles like that one that leave out the fact that all he was trying to do was make sure that people that wanted the treatment had access to the treatment. And that's what I'm tired of from all sides.
Okay. Well, all right, let's just take it from your standpoint. I think the LGBTQ community is still a little bit concerned with this presidency because of the quote Mike Pence said when he said, Congress should oppose any effort to put gay and lesbian relationships on an equal legal status with heterosexual marriage. And Congress should oppose any effort to recognize homosexuals as a discrete and insular minority. So,
how is he going to change it? Since
he also didn't want them to be protected under anti-discrimination laws.
How is he going to change it now that he's vice president? What is he himself?
I understand.
No. You don't understand, because all you're doing right now is continuing to feed the same fear that these people already have. It's time to put this stuff to bed. No.
I'm asking why they're scared.
I understand why they're scared too. That's the point that you don't understand. Really? So because I'm trying to explain to people the reality of the situation, I don't understand why they're afraid. Let me explain something to you that I've been saying on every single show, because at this point, we have lots of people that are listening all over the place, and not everybody listens to the same show. You already heard the first part of the spiel. I actually fought for, and stood beside the gay community for 12 years of my life. I will be the first one to tell you and anyone else that the moment this administration tries to do anything to take any rights that are available to any other human being away from these people, I will be one of the first ones to stand up against it. So don't you dare tell me that I don't understand why they're scared. All I'm trying to do is make them understand that part of the reason they're being afraid is because they're being fed irrational arguments from the media sources that they choose to listen to. So don't you dare paint me with that same brush.
not. You just don't understand that this is why people
I don't understand. I don't understand because I'm a heterosexual white guy. Screw you and the horse you rode in on. I just told you that I understand. So I just told you exactly what I just said. I understand, and I will be the first one to stand up if this administration tries to trample over them, and you come back with you don't understand. In other words, you're not listening.
Okay.
Bryce, I just told you.
I
just told you. I understand every single reason why they're afraid. All I'm trying to do is make them understand that part of the reason they're afraid is because they keep listening to media sources that are telling them what they need to hear to keep them paying attention to those media sources instead of actually giving them the facts. That has been a problem that has been shined a spotlight on for this entire election cycle, and I don't care if it's a right-leaning media source or a left-leaning media source. It's all about profit anymore. It's all about clicks. It's all about ratings. It's all about who visits the site. It's not about giving anybody the truth anymore. And damn it, it's time that we get back to the truth. And the truth of it is, Mike Pence is not a devil. Mike Pence is someone who very staunchly believes religiously gay marriage is an issue. I have the same problem, but I will not hold people to that same standard because they may not have the same religious beliefs that I do. So I will stand up for their God-given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If part of their pursuit of happiness is to be able to marry whomever they choose, then who the hell am I to stand in their way? All I was saying is one of the easiest, quickest ways to fix this back when it was still an argument was to cede it to the states first so people could get comfortable with it in the states that already were comfortable with it, and then eventually it would propagate everywhere else. That's why states' rights work. When people don't like something that's going on in a particular state, they have the ability to move to somewhere that recognizes it. That's why marijuana is slowly becoming more and more legal in every single state. And it probably will, unless this big movement that everybody's talking about to do away with states and federalize the entire country happens. And then guess what? Then we're all under the same rules and states' rights don't apply anymore. But that's my point.
No, the only reason the only reason that marijuana is legal in the states is because under Obama's direction, the federal government has turned a blind eye to the states having it legalized. It is illegal on the federal level, which means at any moment the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, who's staunchly opposed to marijuana, could shut that down quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump's going to be sparking a bowl up in the White House. So I really don't think that Jeff Sessions is going to be able to do anything about
Donald Trump knows what he's doing. I really don't think that he actually understands what the job entails. Like, I really don't think he gets it.
That's funny, because even though I'm in the stuck with Trump category, I could say the same thing about Obama, because he didn't know a damn thing about the job when he started either.
No, Obama actually had governmental experience. Obama had Joe Biden by his side.
Oh, wow. Obama had government experience. He was a state legislator. He was in the state Senate for like 5 minutes and then went to the national level Senate for 5 more minutes. Yeah, that's some real government experience there, bub.
Rick, Donald Trump didn't know who the Kurds were.
And he still voted president. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt till he's sworn in. And then if he starts screwing up, we can all pick up pitchforks and torches.
Okay, so there you go, right? We can all pick up pitchforks and torches. The reason people are doing that now is because they are nervous that their voices won't be heard.
No,
and that's exactly what protest is for. The
reason they're doing it now is because they grew up in the participation trophy generation and they don't know how to cope with losing.
See, that is such a crock of crap.
Oh, really? So that's why pretty much every single college campus across the country has been ground to a halt, and they're bringing in Play-Doh and therapy dogs and pizza is because everybody's so scared they just don't know what to do? No, bullshit. They just don't know how to cope with a loss.
Disgusting. No, because a man who just won the presidency said on audio tape that because he was rich and powerful, he could grab a woman. The message that sends to the girls around the world.
And you don't think that was part of the reason that I was staunchly opposed to his election? Do you forget that I was getting fire from all sides because I'm telling everybody this is not someone that we.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who are seeking to go discuss this election because it's different than any type of election we've ever had before. No one said the types of things he's ever said before. No one said that they were going to put Muslims on a registry. So that to the people, to the communities that are really freaking scared, yeah, they do want to go talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, then they're not going to be able to be informed on it.
Doesn't really sound like they're doing much talking. It sounds like they're doing a bunch of crying and whining.
No, they are. Okay, so for whatever sources you see, yes, people are crying and they're upset because a man just won presidency who describes sexual assault, who wants to ban or get Muslims registered, and think of all the progress that has been made for minority groups under the previous administration. We just had the first African-American president, and his successor is the same man who said that he was born in another country, who didn't believe in his birth certificate. We just took a huge step backwards.
Actually, depending on who you ask, that rumor actually got started somewhere else, and there are just as many sources that say both, so half dozen of one, six or the other.
It doesn't matter. He was the one leading the campaign for it. He was one of the loudest voices for it. I can remember every day on Good Morning America hearing his voice. Well, where's his birth certificate? Prove the birth certificate. He was the first African American.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Not an easy answer, but simple.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
And we need serious people to solve them. Republicans and Democrats.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is Find the Common Ground. We're live right here with you on Saturday, November the 19th. Actually, it just dawned on me. Happy birthday! I have a daughter with a birthday today, and it just dawned on me now that she's an adult, I rarely see her, and I was like, holy crap, I knew I was forgetting something today. So happy birthday to my daughter, Crystal. I do hope you have a wonderful day. And we just got some really good news that I'm about to be a grandpa for the second time. She's now expecting a little boy. I already have a granddaughter, now I'm about to have a grandson. Woohoo!
Call you Gramps on air.
Yeah, well, I can still call you a genius, so it works out.
Fair enough.
You know, you should really just put PhD after your name on Twitter for a while, see if anybody catches it.
Maybe I will.
Just make sure you do it right. Big P, little H, big D.
Or I just do all caps and people will think I'm kind of stupid.
No. So you don't want to do that because I know somebody on Twitter that already does that. And when, because we all thought he was like pretending to be a doctorate. So Stacy actually had their database. You can go look that stuff up. And she's like, guess what, genius? You're not on the PhD registry. He's like, that's not what it means. You haven't even asked me what it means. There's a reason it's all capitalized. And we're like, I'm afraid to ask, but I'm sure you're going to tell me anyway. It stands for pretty huge, and I'm sure you can figure out the other letter.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so might not want to do that, but yeah, anyway. No, I'm just...
All right, not going to do
that. All right, so I think we have yelled and screamed enough about Mike Pence because my headache's coming back. What else do we want to talk about today?
All right, so I guess I will conclude on saying that I think that I don't think as though the protests are a bad thing, because if you remember, the alt-right was literally burning and hanging effigies of Obama and saying go back to Africa. So really what the left is doing right now, I mean, yes, I have seen that there are some violence, acts of violence from both sides, and I think that both are disgusting. But so long as people do what they did at GW and just protest peacefully, I really don't have a problem with it. Do I think it's going to get much done? No. But I think it gives people an outlet to say, something's not right here, and I want my voice to be heard. Now, if that means running for office like I did, or voting, or, whatever, I mean, we really have to stop looking at civic engagement as showing up to a polling place and then going home and waiting for the election results, because that's not where civic engagement ends. And I think that my generation really understands that really well. And I think that they're just coming to terms with the fact that I think, well, here, I'll rephrase that. I think the reason that people are so upset from my generation is because for so long we have seen the previous generation and the generation before that in power hurting our prospects at life, throwing all the problems to us. I mean, we are going to grow up and we are going to have to deal with climate change, Social Security, the rise of other powers with, demagogue leadership that is threatening democracy, such as in the Philippines. I mean, there are so many problems that are developing from this current generation and the generation before that are going to be pushed onto us that really were not thought about. And I think that people are looking at that and are genuinely upset. I mean, how is it that gay marriage was just legalized last year? I mean, it's shocking. So a lot of people are pretty amazed. That's really it. And now they're starting to voice their opinions, and they're not just weirdos with Play-Doh. They're not just crying, screaming people. I do think some people...
See, hang on. I want to stop you there, because don't misunderstand me. Look, the ones that are out protesting peacefully, that are trying to make their voices heard, I understand them. I respect them. They're doing what they should do, because if they disagree with something, they have the ability to have themselves be heard. That's what this country's about. I understand all of that. Please don't misunderstand. The ones that I am vehemently opposed to are the ones that took a peaceful protest and started turning it violent, and that was happening on both sides. Granted, small marginalized groups on both sides that were getting a lot of press, but it was still happening. And then I have a really big issue with the pizza munchers, as I call them now, who went and locked themselves up in a college classroom, ground school to a halt, called for counseling, called for pizza, therapy dogs, Play-Doh, and coloring books. I mean, look, the simple fact of the matter is the world is still going to continue whether they're locked in a college classroom or not. So the biggest problem that I have is we have a pretty decent segment of the population that is either reacting violently or thumb-sucking under a desk because they didn't like the result of an election. I have a problem with that.
But that's not the large majority. That's not even a percentage of a percent. That's one incident, and they don't speak for the thousands or hundreds of kids who are protesting at GW peacefully and marching in the street about things that they want action on. And I support those kids because a lot of them were my neighbors, and I talked to them about it, and they said it's not so much that we're trying to get Donald Trump unelected. We just want our voices heard about climate change, about student loan debt, about all these things that, I mean, if your biggest issue is climate change like me, I'm going to do my show on this. You're literally crapping yourself because he's about to put someone on the EPA who doesn't even have a science degree. My teachers are more qualified than him to be the head of the EPA, and that scares me. So people are genuinely scared because we've never had a president who's run a campaign, who's been this divisive that we can remember, and people feel personally attacked, and they don't know what to do.
So, I want to back up to something because at this point we're running out of time, and I want to get one last shot in. So you'd mentioned how your generation is going to have to be the one to deal with climate change. Junior, we've all been dealing with weather since the dawn of time.
I mean, you can call it weather. There's nothing to suggest that it's just weather, but that's fine. I mean, I just wrote a research paper on climate change and why Republicans and the right deny climate change, and it's pretty obvious if you look at the numbers. If you really want to trace the problems to why your side doesn't believe in climate change, it's very obvious. It's not because there's conflicting science. There is no conflicting science. The science is very clear. The reason that all these Republican officials say, well, the science isn't out yet, I'm not a scientist, and then they don't listen to the scientists, which is kind of confusing, is because where the money is. Follow the money, Rick. $117,000 is on average what goes to a Senate campaign, and 15 for a Republican, and 15,000 goes to a Democrat. So you wonder why the Republicans believe what the gas and oil industry says. You're going to side with Republicans there. For Congress, I think it was like $56,000 on average from the gas and oil industry to Republicans and 12 to Democrats. I'm not saying either side is clean, but one side is significantly more. The guy, in fact, who is becoming the EPA transition head, Myron Ebel or whatever, however you pronounce his name, he received over $2 million from ExxonMobil. So if you don't think that his opinions are going to be swayed, if you think he just took that money, just we're going to do honest research with it, then I have a bridge to sell you. But there is absolutely no.
Hang on. Where's this bridge at? Is it a good location? I might buy it. No, I'm just playing.
I don't understand why the right won't believe in climate change, but my paper suggests that it's because of money, and it's because the message that Republican officials have been lying to you about for their benefit.
I have a question just to clarify, because it just sounded weird the way you just said that. So you don't understand why the right doesn't believe in climate change, but your paper suggested. So did you write the paper, or did the paper write itself?
I don't fully understand why. What I meant was I don't fully understand why the populace can't see past the lie. My paper suggests that the Republican officials do see past it because of the money. The populace, my conclusion is that the reason that you are believing it is because the message is because what's called an elite cues hypothesis, which is that you take your cues from the elite as opposed to the scientific professionals because you deem the politically elite as elected and that's more trustworthy to you, because you align with them on other issues. And also, I think that Donald Trump is very scary on that issue of climate change. He literally tweeted that it is cold in New York City, therefore, where is the global warming? And another thing that I can quickly get to is that I think another reason why the populace of the right wing doesn't believe in climate change is because of the state of the economy that is, that much of middle America has been stuck in. Donald Trump says that, the Chinese invented global warming so that they could steal American manufacturing. Most of his voters were people who used to work in factories, I would imagine, from middle America. So they view it as one or the other. You can have the economy or you can have the environment. You can have we can bring back jobs or we can have climate change. And they're easily going to pick to have their job back. But the fact of the matter is that he's selling them on a lie. And he's selling it on a lie, and you can choose to believe that lie, but there's no scientific research from a genuine professional that will conclude that humans are not having an impact on the climate at this point. It seems to be as solid as the theory of gravity, that when humans pump CO2 or carbon into the atmosphere, or methane for that matter, any type of greenhouse gas, it thickens the atmosphere and keeps in heat. And in addition to air pollution, it is creating a warmer planet, which is, attributing to acid rain, which is destroying our oceans. I mean, these are things that have been scientifically proven. I mean, why is the ocean getting any more acidic? It's not because of an increase in volcanic activity. It's simply not. And all this has happened since the Industrial Revolution. So I don't know why you don't believe in climate change as a result of man, or why it's not a problem, but that's my 2 cents on it. It's a very big problem.
So are we just going to finish off our show by doing your show?
No. I had to just very strongly conclude on what you brought up, just to solidify the fact that a lot of people from my generation are scared because we're going to have to deal with these problems that the previous have neglected.
My generation is scared, dude. Every generation is scared. Every generation looks at the generation that came before it like they're a bunch of freaking morons. It happens every single time. It's probably going to happen until the conclusion of whatever our life cycle is on this planet. But the simple fact of the matter is, all I'm trying to get across for the moment, and that's to everybody who's, whether you're hiding under a desk, whether you are out protesting peacefully, if you're rioting, sit the hell down and knock it off. But here's the point, and this is my point from somebody who was staunchly never Trump and still kind of am, but I'm kind of stuck. I didn't think he represented a vast majority of the country. I didn't think that his ideas were good ones because he wouldn't necessarily even articulate what his ideas were. What he did was stirred up an entire population that hadn't really felt like they had been connected with since Obama. And the reason I bring that up is because you have a pretty large segment of the left media elite that are calling Donald Trump voters racist. Even Joe Biden said this is not true. I guess maybe...
He's not racist.
Excuse me?
No, I agree. I agree.
Well, no, I was just going to say Joe Biden actually had a lucid thought. I don't know if they've fixed his medication or if maybe he's just been told to quit acting crazy because they're on the way out. But he's actually, for the first time, actually said something that actually made sense and didn't lead to somebody possibly getting arrested for taking his advice. But in a meeting he had with some folks, he said, look, folks, these people were not racist. These same people that voted for Donald Trump in this election were some of the same people that voted for Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012. We just stopped speaking to them. because he didn't really go on to elaborate why they stopped speaking to them, but he said to call them racist is disingenuous because the vast majority of the people that voted for him weren't. A lot of the same people that voted for Barack Obama in the last 2 elections voted for him now. So they obviously weren't racist before because they voted for a black guy, so why are they racist now? And that's been my point all along. I don't like Donald Trump as a person. I don't like the way that he behaves when he's on camera. But the issue is, I'm not entirely sure that's actually who he is. Because if you go back and you look at a lot of the earlier footage of Donald Trump, before he started becoming reality TV mogul dude, he was a very quiet person. He would be interviewed and he would actually be, when people were speaking to him, he would be looking down at his feet. That denotes being uncomfortable. That denotes being nervous in situations. I think, unfortunately, what being a reality TV star has taught him is the louder he yells and the more he yells, the more people listen to him. So all I'm saying is, even though I was staunchly opposed to him, at this point, there's really not too much else that we can do. Because anything else that happens now, whether it's this movement going on now for the Electoral College voters to vote their conscience, or all of these ideas about federalizing and removing state boundaries and making this all one nation, no states, federal government rule for everybody so we can use a popular vote. Those are all really terrible ideas, and I don't think you guys realize how bad that would be, because that means that California and New York would be picking presidents until the dawn of time, and that means that absolutely nothing would ever change because it would be the same people that were constantly in power, and I know one side is really happy about that. But here's my point with that. Even as someone who leans right, when we go too far right, it's bad. As someone who leans right, when we go too far left, it's bad. We need to figure out a way to get back to the center. And that is to make everybody understand that at this point, whether you like it or not, Donald Trump is the president-elect. I didn't like him. I didn't vote for him. But I've gone from never Trump to stuck with Trump. So all I'm asking is let's simmer down just long enough to get him sworn in. Let's see what he's actually going to do. Because right now, none of it matters. Because he hasn't done anything yet. That's like all of these crazy articles coming out from the right-leaning publications lately that are like, dollar soars under Donald Trump presidency, all-time high. He hasn't even been elected yet. This isn't his presidency yet. If anybody deserves credit for that, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, is Obama, because he's the one still in office. Now, maybe it's a futures prediction, and maybe the dollar's on the way up because everybody thinks things are going to get better under Trump, but that is nothing but illusion at this point because we don't know whether things are going to get better or worse.
It's just that a couple things there that you said. So, for one, you can say, let's just wait till he gets inaugurated. Well, that's the problem, is that you shouldn't have to wait till your president gets inaugurated to see what they're going to do. People don't know what Donald Trump is going to do. That in and of itself is a problem, right? If Hillary Clinton was elected, you'd have an idea where this country's headed. But you hear Donald Trump now say, well, now, I like some of Obamacare, and now, and he walked back his statement on the wall, and he's changing a lot of opinions.
No, he's
very
not.
quickly.
No, he's not. People just weren't listening. This was one of the reasons why I was staunchly opposed to him from day one, because depending on what sources you listen to and what room he was in, he told you completely different stories. I have been telling everybody for 18 months that once he gets elected, he's going to shift to the left. I've seen it coming. I know it's going to happen, and I'm still.
He's not shifting left.
Yes, he is. And
he just picked Jeff Sessions as his attorney general. That's not left.
Trust me, he will shift left. He's already starting to, because again, he's walked back the wall. The wall was how he kept everybody enthralled at his rallies. It's one of the reasons why he had such big crowds. Even he admitted, and it was one of the first warning signs that I saw, and nobody caught it, I guess, because in an article, he freely admitted that I have all of these rallies with all of these huge crowds, but every once in a while I can feel them starting to slip away from me when I'm starting to try to actually explain to them what some of my policies are going to be, and all I have to do is shout that we're going to build the wall, and all of a sudden they're raptly paying attention to me again. It became a selling point for him. It became a propaganda piece, and I've been trying to tell people that for the last 18 months. The simple fact of the matter is we already have a law that says there is supposed to be a border fence all along the southern border of the United States. It was passed a long time ago. It was just never funded. And that's why now he's walking some of it back. And they're like, well, are you going to be okay with a fence? Well, yeah, a fence in certain places would be fine. But some of it is still going to be a physical wall. I guarantee you that by the time it's all said and done, most of it's going to be done electronically, which were the same thing that were 2 or 3 other candidates that were up on those stages with him during the debates were saying, but nobody wanted to hear that at the time because he was yelling about a physical wall. I'm telling you, both sides are going to be disappointed by the time this is all said and done, but he's still the president. And I'm still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt until he actually has a chance to start affecting policy. And then if he starts screwing things up, I'll be yelling about him just like I was Bush 43 on the end of his second term and Barack Obama during both of his terms. Because Barack Obama was not the uniter he pretended to be in his speech on the first night that he was elected. He didn't do anything to unite the government. If anything, you want to talk about somebody that was divisive, that would be him. Now, I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump is going to be just as divisive, if not worse. But still, he is not actually in office yet.
I would 100% disagree with you that Obama was not a uniter. I would say that the people who were divisive were the Senate Republicans who met the day of his election to say that he's going to be a one-term president if they can do anything about it. And that was Mitch McConnell and other Senate Republicans. And
hang on. You're missing, because remember, hang on.
It's not missing the point. That's 100% the point.
No,
is that
you're leaving something out. You're leaving something out, because let's not forget, for folks that might be listening for the first time, there was a very specific meeting that happened before they came out and said that. And that was the meeting when the Republicans met with the president hat in hand and said they were willing to work with him, and he staunchly put his hands behind his head, gave them a shit-eating grin and said, hey, elections have consequences. I won. Deal with it. That was the meeting that led to that statement.
Well, it's interesting because this was literally on election night that this was said. So how could that be? That doesn't even make sense.
Well, as far as I knew, I thought it happened right after the meeting. I mean, dude, we're talking like 8 years ago, so I could be wrong. And if they said that then that may be why I'm not remembering it right, because I probably didn't agree with them when they said it. Because again, at that point, I was doing what every American should do and trying to align behind my president based on the speech that he gave that said he was going to be a uniter, not a divider. He was going to reach across the aisle like nobody else ever had before him. And in no way, shape, or form has he done that. None.
I disagree completely. I mean, Republicans in the House and Congress literally tried to obstruct everything he did.
Of course you disagree with him, Bryce. I mean, you have literally told me, I don't know how many times on this show, that conservatism is dying and I'm a dinosaur. So of course you disagree with what I'm saying right now. Really?
It is dying. Just wait.
Really?
The asteroid is coming. Yes, it is.
So I'm sorry. Who has control of the House and the Senate right now?
Rick, that has nothing to do with the way this country is headed, though.
But no, actually it does, because if I remember right, for 6 months you were taking a victory lap about how Hillary Clinton was going to be president and I was a dying breed.
You are. Just wait. Trust me. Conservatism is on its way out. People don't believe in that because it doesn't work. It never has. It doesn't work at all.
And there's nothing to suggest that hang on. How many Democrats have government control in states right now?
You are not seeing the point here.
You're not seeing the point here.
Just trust me. Mark my words. Give him the next election cycle. I'll say in the next 2 or 4 years. Just wait. When more of my group can vote and less of yours can, there's going to be a big difference in this country.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the same line of crap you've been trying to shove down my throat for the last 6 months. And look, I'm not trying to take a victory lap here because I still think everybody lost because of who is at the head of the table right now. But I guarantee you things would not be any better under Hillary Clinton. And at this point, we're out of time because if we're doing your show next, we got to move.
All right, let's do it.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems, but perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer,